What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to do a nice chill video. We're going to be making some black powder paper cartridges. So I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to say right up front, I'm fully prepared for this to be the least viewed video that I have ever done. Because unless you're into this, it's some boring crap. But it's fun to me. It's very relaxing. So thought I'd bring you guys along and just kind of show you my process on how I do these. Now today we're only going to be doing 36 caliber cartridges, but the process is largely the same for 44. We'll talk about that. And so yeah, this is going to be largely unedited. We're just going to relax and make a few cartridges together. I'm going to talk about some things with the channel and some kind of directions I'm going, and so it's going to be a little bit of a hangout. So if you're into that, grab yourself a cup of coffee. I certainly have. And we'll just get to it. All right. So the deal with paper cartridges, you got to kind of have a kit, right? And I have I have a bunch of these little wooden boxes that I seem to use for a lot of things with black powder. And of course, you can't do anything with a black powder without an Altoid tin sneaking in there somehow. So there's a lot of ways to store paper cartridges. So I'll start with the nice ones. Basically, these are from Cap and Ball. If you go look up his YouTube channel, fantastic YouTube channel. I love that guy. And he actually sells these. These are beautiful reproductions of original cartridge boxes that you would have bought in the gun store way back in the day. And essentially you just have a piece of canvas glued as a hinge, and there you go. You got your paper cartridges and a really cool sleeve. And so I have 2 of these for 44, and then I made some myself, and that is a paper towel roll to capture the box. And you can see these are much more crude than Mr. Cap and Ball's. Piece of canvas on the back as a hinge. Kind of the same deal there. And I made these myself, as you can tell, because they look terrible. But they work. So you can store, there's another one. I don't have a cover for it yet. Real simple to make. So you can store them like this. And of course I have a 36 caliber 36 caliber box, and these are literally they just drop down in there. So now that's the kind of historical way to store your paper cartridges. My preferred way is just in bulk in an Altoid tin with a napkin in it. You can fit, I don't know, 20 or 30 of them in there depending on the caliber. So these are my 44. And that's just a tin slap full. You can throw this whole thing in your pocket, super low profile, and you got some reloads. And this is my 36 caliber tin, and I've filled it up about halfway. So with the 36, you can get one layer on the bottom, and you still got room there to make a whole nother layer. So you can carry quite a few paper cartridges in one tin. So I'm just going to make a few today and add to the tin. So here are some of the tools that I use. Obviously you need your powder flask, you need your ball. I'm just going to pull out a few. This process is not fast at all. So dump a few out there. So I use this cigarette paper. It's Job, I don't know, 1.5 cigarette paper. For 36 caliber, you're going to see this is like the perfect size cigarette paper. I use this little Gerber multi-tool. Fantastic, tiny little multi-tool. I really just use it for the scissors and the knife. You got your glue stick, just regular old, purple Elmer's glue stick. Nothing special. And then I always seem to have just a dowel rod floating around somewhere. These are just a great little tool to assist with things. And then I actually have my paper cartridge making tool, kit, whatever. This one was 3D printed. I got it on Etsy from a guy for $12. Now this one is for $36, but I use this for $44 as well. There's a way to do it. That's for another day, but you can make your own as well. You know, it takes a little bit of time, but you know, you can just take like a 1/2-inch oak dowel and sand it down to a taper to the right size. You got a little reference notch in there, so you know where your paper goes to. You can make these yourself, no problem. But for that price, $12, this is really cheap, so I went with that. All right, so let's make some paper cartridges. So what I do, they come in these sheets, right? Cigarette paper. And they're already folded in half, you see there. So what I do is I just go with that fold. And I'm going to take my Gerber and cut it in half. Okay, now I'm going to fold it again. Okay. You want to get this as straight as possible. Alright, crease it. And now I'm going to cut it again. Okay, just like that. I'm just slicing it in half. Okay, doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. Although try not to rip it like I just did. You want to let the knife do the work. There we go. That's better. Alright, so now I have 4 strips of cigarette paper. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I want to take my paper here. I want to get it wrapped around. I'll take my glue and just get this edge glued up. Okay. And then on my little black powder tool here, or my little paper cartridge making tool, it has a little reference notch that's really hard to capture on camera, but it's very obvious your paper is not supposed to go above that point. Okay, so now I've glued it. Okay, it's just wrapped around, and I'm going to take my knife and I'm just going to cut off the excess very carefully. Okay, so there we go. Now you're going to twist it and crack it loose so it should slide back and forth freely. Now I'm going to slide it all the way down to the end. Okay, and I'm going to take my glue stick and glue the bottom tip of this paper. Okay, so I got that. Now this little piece that's left over here, I'm actually going to cut that in half. Okay, just like that. I'm going to have my little square. I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick it right in the center of that square. Like that. You take your base, push it down, pull it out, roll it, and then twist it off of the stick so it doesn't stick on there. Okay, and then if there's a bunch of like pieces of paper hanging up like that, I'm just going to glue them down. I want this to be a really smooth paper cartridge. I don't want a bunch of stuff hanging out and getting caught on anything or all that. Okay, so it's twisting free. And then I'm going to stick it back in the base. And it's going to look like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take my powder. Okay, full charge of powder. Okay, pour it in. And I'm going to tap it. Let it settle. and it will settle a good bit. I'm going to take my ball and just cover it in glue. Gently set it down in there, and if you did it right, that ball should just slide down in there without you pushing it. And I take it out, gently push it down just a little more. I don't want to force it because you will pop the bottom of the paper cartridge. And I'm just going to roll it and get that glue to bite on this paper. Okay. And there you go. That's one paper cartridge. Now, what I do from here is I set it down upside down in my little lid. And I don't want that paper touching any of the edge, because when I go to pull it off, if it had glue on it, I'm going to pull it off and the paper is going to stick to that wood and rip the whole thing off, and you got powder everywhere, and ask me how I know. Okay. So we made one. How long has this video been on? 11 minutes. It doesn't take quite that long. Once you get rocking and rolling, you can do, I don't know, maybe one every 2 minutes. I'm going to stop instructing here, and I'm just going to go at my normal speed, and let's see how long it takes. Okay. I got a little bit of excess paper, so I'm just going to roll that. Okay. Pull it down. Glue the end. Stick it on the square. Push it in the base. Roll. Loosen. Okay. Looking good. Powder. And I'm not trying to go really fast here. This is just the comfortable speed for me. I've made, I don't even know how many of these, quite a lot over the years. And so I've been using this same method the whole time. I'm sure somebody's going to chime in with a better method, and listen, more power to you, my friend. But I'm kind of like set up here. Not that I'm, I want to hear your suggestions. That's not what I mean. That sounds douchey. I just mean, I've been doing it so long, it's hard for me to change unless it's a really good idea. There you go. So that was about a minute and a half. Minute and a half per cartridge. So I said I was going to do some discussion about the channel. So I've officially reached like 1,200, I think, subscribers, which is really, it's been so cool just to, watch it take off. Because I'll be honest with you, I just started this and thought, I'm just going to talk about things that I'm interested in the way that I'm interested in them. I'm not going to try to make content to get subscribers. I'm just going to find like-minded people. It's going to be 20 or 30 dudes, and we'll just have fun, right? And very quickly, it just blew up, and there's more than 20 or 30 dudes who are like-minded, which is really cool. So, because of that, because it's taking off, I'm leaning into it a little more. And, I'm not going to change the way I'm doing things. I'm going to try to do it in a better quality. But I'm not going to, suddenly change what got me here, right? I'm just going to keep doing what I do, being myself, talking about the things that I'm interested in. I'm not going to try to do things to get subscribers. I'm just doing what I like. But I want to do what I'm doing better in terms of video quality, maybe editing a little. I don't want to get too polished because it just takes time, and I did that backwards. I accidentally glued the ball before I was ready. I'm just going to wipe that off. Here's the real dilemma. So I've officially met the parameters for YouTube's monetization program. And, you know, to really do this YouTube channel thing the way I would like to, it's going to require money, right? I can't just keep doing this out of my own pocket and just buying guns. And it takes a lot of money, right? Nothing's cheap anymore. And so the YouTube monetization would help, but you guys already know there is a bias pretty heavy against this type of channel and people who think like us. And so even if I get monetized, I think it's going to be short-lived. I think it's very likely that videos are going to get struck, and I'm really concerned about that. I mean, I applied, and we'll see what happens, but I am concerned that, you know, the monetization is just going to nuke the channel. And if that happens, I'm just going to turn off the monetization. I'll be honest with you. But then there's the question of Patreon, right? Do I want to go that route and start asking people for money? And I really don't. You know, because I'm not trying to make this my full-time job, right? But at the same time, in the same breath, you do have to think about sustainability. You know, how do I keep doing this? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm just going to be very transparent. Putting out the volume that I have is because I have that much to talk about, and I have that many guns, and that's going to run out, right? I want to get to the point where I'm going to have to get more guns. I'm going to have to buy more ammo. Putting it out at this volume is going to change, and it's going to require something. And so I'm not anything special here. I think all YouTubers kind of hit this point where they go, okay, something's got to change. This needs to start supporting itself. So I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I'm interested to hear what you guys think. If that's something you would entertain doing it. You know, here's my thought. If half of my subscribers gave $1 a month, that would change the dynamic of this channel completely, because now, like, you know, I could actually go and buy more T-Sauce, or, you know, try out another Rock Island Armory, or, you know, I could actually do things people are asking for and that I think are interesting. The question is, do people want to do that? Do they think it's worth it? So it's tough. It's tough, man. These are things on my mind. Because the thing I never want to do is, you know, come off like, you know, this is some sort of a cash cow, and it's a, you know, I start foaming at the mouth for money, and so that's not it. I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to put in the requisite amount of time to become a full-time YouTuber. If it's going to happen, if that were to happen, which it isn't, it's going to happen all by itself, because I'm not aiming at that. This is a hobby. This is something I do in my free time, in the evenings when my family's gone to bed. So that's where I'm at with it. As far as other channel content and discussions, man, the comments, I've never seen. I just was not prepared for how many comments I'm getting on these videos. It is absolutely insane. And I'm trying to respond to every single one, but it's to the point now where, like, it takes me, I don't know, 45 minutes a day to, like, sit down and try to have a thoughtful response to everybody. There's a few turds, you know. I think the funniest comment so far is like, well, you should have asked me. I could have told you that. You need to pin my comment. And everybody needs to know what I say. Like, the frick is that, dude? I politely told that guy, I will not be pinning your comment. And bro, if you're watching, just a word of advice, the way you're coming off is really douchey. And, I mean that respectfully, but that is not how you talk to people. But, you know, boy, those comments are far overshadowed rather, by all of you who are just so kind, and man, it's just been wonderful to talk to all of you in the comments. And, you know, 007 Chancellor's been a frequent commenter. Been fun talking to him, and gosh, I can't remember the other guys. Big Daddy something, I can't remember his name. Even Jared from Jared AF, that channel, which I love. Love his stuff. He commented, which was really an honor. It was really cool. So it's been fun talking to everyone. I was not prepared for the volume. I'll be honest, I thought if I get comments, I'll get like one thumbs up, and the rest of them are just going to be dudes dropping trow and, you know, taking a dump on what I do. But it's not happening. People have been really, you know, it's just surprising to see how many of us there are who still travel the old path, so to speak. All right, we're approaching my 6th paper cartridge, and we'll call the video right there. Because I don't want to put you guys through any more of this. But I did want to just, you know, show you how I make paper cartridges, and also talk to you and see, let you know what's going on. Just let you know my thoughts on the channel so far. Other things I do plan on doing in the future, I do have some long gun videos coming out. We're going to be talking about shotguns and lever guns and no bolt actions. Well, actually, no, we could do a bolt action video. Yeah, there's more to talk about. More kind of philosophy videos. There's more, maybe more technical stuff. I've got quite a list of things that we can still go over. One video I'm pretty excited about is doing some long range stuff with ARs, because there's this group of people who believe that unless your AR is free floated, it's just this inaccurate piece of trash, and, you know, that's just not true. That's not true. A standard AR, you know, with a 7-inch rail will hit whatever you need it to hit. And really, 9-hole reviews, that's a great channel. They kind of prove that wrong. You know, they're reaching out with just old school Colt mil-spec ARs several hundred yards out. I'm not going to get too much into the, like, teaching thing, because in terms of, like, I don't know, tactical, like, reloads, and I don't know. I've done that before. I have taught classes. I'm just not into it anymore. I'm more interested in, like, just enjoying these things as in and of themselves. I just don't care about the tactical bullcrap anymore. I don't care about high speed, low drag, tactical turtleneck, as I always say. By the way, that reference, tactical turtleneck, for those of you who ever watched Archer, you'll understand. It's a tactineck, Lana. All right, there we go. So that is 6 paper cartridges in 24 minutes with all of my yapping. Is it fast? No. Is it fun? Why, yes, it is. It's very therapeutic, fun to do. So that's how I make paper cartridges. Then that's just a little bit of discussion about the channel, where we're at, where we're going. I'm really glad you're all here. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's been really fun this process, and I hope you all continue to stay if you enjoy it, and I look forward to future work. So until next time, we will see you.